The Foo Fighters are back. Wait, already? Well, it's only been about a year since, well, Wait, and a new album's been announced as well. So they've written and recorded a brand new album in less than a year, and it's out in 3 weeks. Okay, I have so many questions. What, how, why, and who is playing the drums? Actually, who's playing the whole song? Because it doesn't sound like the current Foo Fighters lineup. Yes, the Foo Fighters are indeed back with a brand new song called Rescued, which was released on April 29th of this year, just in time for summer. Not that the song's actually very summery at all. Quite the opposite, actually. And this comeback single is actually the first track on the brand new upcoming 11th studio album from the Foo Fighters, But Here We Are, which coincidentally is actually due for release next month. Actually, we're less than a month away now from a brand new Foo Fighters album, since it's out on the 2nd of June. Can I just say that it's a lot less common these days for bands with the stature and prestige of Foo Fighters to spring a brand new release upon us, the fans, without lots of sort of marketing runway to build up excitement about the album from announcement to release. I'm not sure why this is actually. Maybe the band are just really eager to get their new music out there into the ether for us all to hear. I'm not complaining, by the way, just to be clear, the sooner the better if you ask me. Just an interesting observation really, this whole rollout has happened so quick. So I've given the new song Rescued a number of listens now over the past week, and well, like all Foo Fighters music, I've grown very fond of it. Straight off the bat, like if you're a Foo Fighters fan and you love the Foo Fighters and you have done for a while, you're gonna love this new song. It sounds exactly like the Foo Fighters. Unmistakably Foo Fighters. In fact, there's absolutely nothing new or different about this new Foo Fighters song. But I'm here to tell you why that's a good thing. Let me explain. So the instrumental is fairly standard for Foo Fighters, and although I can hear sort of signature Dave Grohl / Pat Smear tones on this thing, I can't really hear much of Chris Shiflett's guitar playing on this one, but more on that later. The song for me sounds like it's been tracked on tape versus digitally. It's a really warm sounding track in its EQ curve, and it's definitely reminiscent of the Wasting Light album in terms of its sound for me, which I'm sure everybody knows by now. It was recorded in Dave Grohl's garage, or garage, whichever way you want to say it, to tape, which is what gave that album its charm and attitude with its sort of raw and DIY feel. And just like Wasting Light, Rescued for me sounds pretty raw, like it was recorded in the exact same way, which I'm really liking. I especially love that really heavy single note guitar riff that leads the song in. But the thing that catches me off guard every time I listen to this tune is the sheer power of Dave Grohl's voice. The emotion and anger in those vocals is just amazing. Dave's always been a great vocalist, don't get me wrong, but like this is something else for me. And it's really nice to see him returning to this sort of raw, shoutier, aggressive way of singing versus the softer, more nuanced way he was singing on Medicine at Midnight. The lyrics though is where it gets really interesting. Just listening and reading them through, you kind of know that Dave is singing about, well, that night. I mean, this song is the first track on the new record and it opens it, so sort of makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, take the lyric, I'm just waiting to be rescued, we're all just waiting to be rescued tonight. Sounds like he's talking about the band and how on that night they felt helpless and were in shock at what had happened and probably didn't know what to do. And the song to me sounds like Dave reflecting back on that night, going through what had happened and trying to make sense of it all. Later on in the song, in true Foo Fighters fashion, the song builds into a really powerful crescendo, with the whole band entering into this instrumental climb, which is very reminiscent of the crescendos that the band often do in their live shows in the middle of certain songs like All My Life, for example, where Dave suspends a particular chord and then Chris and Pat kind of climb up the fretboard, which creates this really cool tension building effect. Hang on a minute, I'll show you. So just from ear, Davis I think is going. Literally just doing that. And then Pat and Chris are going. And it creates that kind of effect. That is quintessential Foo Fighters. But the question that is no doubt on everybody's mind is who is playing the drums? I'm just going to put it out there, I think it's Dave. For me, there are a number of signature Dave Grohl fills and moves in the song. I mean, it's either Dave Grohl or it's an AI that's just been fed a ton of Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins drum tracks. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a safe bet. Everyone knows that Dave loves a good flam. And I think the simplicity of the drum track on the new Foo song is very, very Dave. The simplicity of the fills going around the kit, you know, going into halftime in the chorus on the cymbal. Such a Dave move. I don't know, just feels like Dave to me, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But that naturally brings me on to the second question on everybody's mind. Who is the new touring drummer of the Foo Fighters? Now, I'll leave a link to another video that I've done on this topic on screen if you fancy checking that one out. For me though, personally, it's either going to be Rufus Taylor, who knows the whole Foo Fighters discography like the back of his hand, and is a natural successor to Taylor, given how close they were, like brothers, in fact. Not to mention he's Taylor's godson. However, Rufus would have to leave his current band, The Darkness, in order to join the Foo Fighters. I'm not sure how probable that is. Option number 2, as many of you rightly pointed out in my last video on this topic, is Josh Freese. Josh is another very likely candidate, having played drums in Nine Inch Nails and Paramore in the past. Freese also performed at Taylor Hawkins' tribute concerts, and if I remember correctly, he came on for the Foo's original set towards the end of the evening, playing on songs like Times Like These. And being there in person myself at Wembley to witness it all, something just felt right about Josh Freese being on stage with the Foos. And I think the fan base is sort of leaning towards wanting Freese to be the Foo Fighters' new drummer. But that said, let me know in the comments who you guys think the new Foo Fighters drummer will be. Now, I did want to leave you with one final thought. Remember how I said you can't really hear Chris Shiflett's guitar playing on this new song, Rescued? And by that I mean there's no sort of signature Chris Shiflett style guitar playing on this song. Like, there's no noodly stuff. And I feel like he would add noodly stuff if he was playing on the record. Well, I'm starting to think, and I might be the only one here, but I'm starting to think that it's not just Dave Grohl that's playing the drums on this new song. I think it's Dave Grohl playing everything. And I'm now wondering if he's gone full circle and essentially just made the songs, or maybe even the whole album, himself, just like he did for the debut, you know, the first ever Foo Fighters album in 1995 when Kurt died. I know it sounds a bit far-fetched, but there's something about this song, there's just something about it that makes it sound like it's just Dave. At least for me anyway. Only time will tell, I guess. Let me know if you guys think I'm onto something, or if I'm just barking up the wrong tree. So, Rescued. Yet another great addition to the Foo Fighters discography. And I think we can expect more of the same from the upcoming album. The Foos have actually given us a few clues about what to expect of the new album in terms of its sound. On their website, they've actually described the new album as brutally honest and emotionally raw, and sonically challenging the naivety of the 1995 Foo Fighters debut album. Many Foo Fighters fans have been calling for the band to change up their sound and experiment with fresh and new ideas. But given everything that's happened, remember it's not just one tragedy with Taylor Hawkins passing away. Dave Grohl also lost his mother in the same year. I'm just happy that the band is still about making music. And as I've said in many videos in the past, it's usually times like these, pun intended, that bring out a band's best work. It's usually a breakup or losing somebody or going through a difficult time in general that brings out the best in an artist. And that has me very excited to hear this new album. Even if it's not different, even if it doesn't sound modern or new or fresh, even if it sounds like the past 10 albums. Because for me, that's not what's important here. What's important is the band got knocked down, and they've been knocked down many times before. They've gotten back up again, and they're going again. And that, people, is class. And with that said, I do hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and I'll leave a few links on the screen up here somewhere to some videos that you might fancy watching next. But yeah, long live the Foo Fighters. See you in the next one.